Oh, dude, I don't know how to do anything. I barely know how to start a car.
That's how you learn.
Yeah, I guess.
I didn't know how to do anything mechanically, and I always wanted.
Oh, you're gonna have to put this a little closer. Sorry.
Yeah,
There you go.
You're good.
It feels weird at first, but then you get used to this
Okay.
thing in your face.
I mean, that's what I did. Is I bought an old Mustang. In,
What year?
66.
And you didn't know anything about.
No, I didn't know the first thing.
And what? Just
Well,
YouTube.
I knew a little
friends?
bit. I knew how to change spark plugs. You know, I knew how to change the oil.
That's more than I know.
You know, this is a car I'd always wanted.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car.
I'd never own one again.
Why? Just a money pit? Or
It's a hole in the road you throw money into. And,
Yeah, I am.
You know,
worried
the
about
problem is that you get a car like that, and you start, you take it out for a drive, you hear a squeak or a rattle, and you're like, I gotta fix that. So it becomes less about enjoying the vehicle and more about
the work,
like the work associated with it. And so getting rid of that car for me was a godsend.
It was time back.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Now my kid wanted, you know, he's upset that I got rid of it. That was before I even had thoughts about him. So
Yeah.
I'm not much of a car guy anymore. Used to be.
I've never been a car guy. I
Well,
always.
what is it? Is it the idea of it, or what? Why do you want it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think, like, this is a weird way of answering it, but for Christmas, for birthdays, I don't give my wife or my kids things. I'm like, let's go for Christmas for the past, I don't know how many years. I'm like, here's the vacation that we're going to take. We might not take it on Christmas, but like, that's what they're unwrapping.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is where we're going. I'm a big believer in let's try to go make memories. Like, okay, I'll buy my son a football. But then it's like, dude, we're going to go play football in the backyard in the park every day.
Yeah.
Like, that's the sort of thing. And so
Has that always been, or is that more
I think
recent?
it's probably been the last 10 or 15 years.
Cool.
So for me, the old truck is partly, candidly, I feel like I'm going through a midlife crisis right now.
How old are you?
42.
You're too young.
Oh, don't tell me that, dude, because if it gets worse.
It gets worse.
Todd, no.
It gets worse.
Oh, that makes me nervous because I'm not joking when I tell you, I'm talking to my wife thinking like, I feel like I'm going through this right now.
You probably are. You probably
It's just going to last a long time is what you're
Truly,
saying.
well, all that or you're not going to
have
live very long.
Midlife.
Midlife,
You
no.
don't live through it?
Yeah, no, the midlife crisis thing is real, and I think you have to prepare for it.
And I
Truly,
have not.
you need to.
And I have not. And now I feel like I'm in it. And I'm like, oh, I'm spinning. What is that and for some reason I think like, okay, an old truck would be a Sunday cruiser. It'd be, I'm going to use that truck to take my boys to soccer practice. I'm going to take that truck and we're going to do drive-in movies in Riverdale. It's not necessarily
You're
about
projecting
the
a
truck.
life, an ideal state of life, and using an object to get you there.
Yeah. And I recognize that might not be all that healthy.
It's normal.
You think?
Yeah. That's everybody. That's everything. We're all trying to project this perfect life through the objects that we surround ourselves with. But I think it's cool that you said that you like to do things. You like to collect memories versus give gifts.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I think so. It's, we just went to Europe and the most fun thing that we did is we rented bikes in Amsterdam.
That's cool.
And my son is 8, too little to be riding bikes in Amsterdam. Like, one, he got hit by a bike, and I thought he was going to get real hurt, and the person was going to get real hurt. And my daughter, while riding a bike, got hit by a car in Amsterdam. My 16-year-old daughter.
And that was the best thing you did?
It was so much fun, dude. She was fine. She was fine. It wasn't the car that hit her. It was the rear. It was the side mirror.
Okay.
Like she just got sideswiped kind of. But my son, we ended up getting a tandem. But because he's 8, it wasn't a tandem where we're equal. He's lower and in front of me and holding on. But I'm at the back of the bike steering.
Oh, boy.
Let me tell you, nothing is more... It's so...
That would be exhausting.
Well, and you're like, I have to plan a turn 4 feet before
So you're
I
like
normally
the guy on
would.
the back of the fire truck that's hanging way out off the back.
Yeah. Dude, but
kind of
He
training does
laughed.
that guy get?
He laughed for 8 hours that we were on the bike. Like he just so much fun. It was like that's why we go. That's like the point of us going on vacation. My wife will tell me though, she's like, Nick, we could do that just at home. You don't have to go to Amsterdam to go ride bikes with your kids and have fun. And it's not that I don't ride bikes with my kids at home, but I try to project like these bigger moments. And she's like, let's just find that joy in the smaller moments. I love that she tries to balance me that way.
That's cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I have a hard time with it, but she balances me.
Sounds like it's working.
So, but back to the truck. I don't know if I want like a old 60s, like kind of, light blue, white seats.
Wow, look at this. He's already got it.
Yeah. A Chevy S10.
I'll tell you that's probably going to be expensive.
Yeah, now.
I've been saving. I've been
All
saving.
right, well, shit, let's go then. Bro.
Or like an old F-150 farm truck from the late 80s.
Oh, like what are those
like
called?
a big jacked up, and it's
big
not
big redneck truck.
a big and it,
like
that one
single cab.
yeah
Has
Yeah.
to be. Yeah.
has to be
The bed's
What
got
are
to
they
be partly
called? What are they
rusted
called?
out.
The front, yeah,
for
the
sure.
front. The front's got that wide body. Oh, the wide body Fords. That's what they're called.
Yep.
It's funny. I've
Wide
been
body,
showing my
single
wife
cab.
these cars and these trucks, and she's like, "Well, these ones are like cherried out, and then this like the bigger old farm boy trucks, they're rusted and I'm like, exactly. Like it's a very different vibe.
Yeah. So
I
is
just
this
can't
like
decide.
your split personality
I think
coming
so.
out there?
I think it might be. You know me too well.
I'm going to take a nice truck today. Tomorrow I'm taking the... Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But you've got a big. Is yours a long bed too? Yours is
yeah.
a dually
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
and a
And
long
a
bed,
long bed.
and it's a 4-door.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's as long as a bus.
It's
You need a
big.
C class for
It's
that.
big. It's big. Yeah,
You
it's,
don't, but
it's,
that'd be
it's a no
Tom's
BS.
like, I always got to do the
No
fact checks.
BS. No BS. And
Yeah,
I was not set to buy that when I bought it. I just got a really good deal. Deal I couldn't pass up.
Well, maybe I'm dumb. I don't know what the advantage of a dually is.
Payload.
Towing capacity.
Yeah.
So what are you towing that needs 6 wheels?
Nothing. Me personally.
Well, yeah, that would be for like a big. That would be
Yeah.
for like a horse trailer. Or
Yeah,
something
you
like
could
that.
haul a horse trailer with it. You could haul a big. I mean, I've hauled horse trailers. I've hauled RVs.
Yeah, you could, but you could haul a big RV, like a big 30.
The thing,
footer or
it's
50
got like
footer.
a 37,000 pound towing capacity. You could haul like 747 across tarmac.
So I could get in the
Haul
back
it
and
anyway.
be fine. You'd be fine.
You'd be fine. You'd be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to get airbags. You know.
Yeah.
Load
Do they?
stabilized. But no, it was just a good deal. I was.
You only need airbags in that now, but like when we grew up, I don't know if I've shared this with you, Dalton, but like my dad used to have a F-150.
You sat on the wheel hubs.
Okay, worse. I remember we drove from Salt Lake to Seattle, and he had a shell.
And
over
you
the
laid
truck.
in the back end an air
He-
mattress.
He laid mattresses down, and we slept
Yeah.
there the night before we left, and
Yeah.
then we woke up at 11, and we're like, we're in
you're
Idaho,
there. Yeah.
and
Hell
we'd crawl
yeah.
through the window.
Yeah.
And now my mom's like,
And we
if your son's
survived.
in the car without a seatbelt and you're going around the corner, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, Mom, we drove across the country like wrestling in the back of a pickup.
Yep.
That's
And we
crazy,
survived.
dude.
Yeah.
We
You'd be fine.
survived.
Yeah.
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 No, it's.
I had good times back there. Actually, we went to this was in high school. So it was like mid 90s, late 90s. We hauled our boat up to Bear Lake, and I took my best friend, DJ Herrera. And at the time, my girlfriend, Laura, she was a senior. I was a sophomore.
Holla.
You know it.
Let's go.
And we all laid in the back on the way home. DJ pretended to be asleep, and I got to second base whole ride home.
Oh,
That's
boy.
the same girl I got to second base with at Lagoon.
no. Let's
I've
go.
shared that story.
Let's go.
I've shared this story before, but Todd, I freaking
Do you have to do a disclaimer on this here?
no, not this one,
no. We have the South Park disclaimer.
dude. She was a ride operator, and I was ticket taker because I was only 14. We were working the Ferris wheel together. She comes back from break and hands me a piece of paper that has a note on it that says, "The human body is made up of 89% water, and I'm thirsty." We shut down the
Best
Ferris
pickup
wheel,
line
got in
ever.
the gondola, second base.
Best pickup line ever.
Dude.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't even know what to do with that.
Yeah, what is the best
I
pickup
didn't
line?
either, dude.
What's the best pickup line you've ever heard?
That I've ever
Used
heard.
Or used?
No, I've
You don't use pickup lines.
no.
You just give the look.
Yeah, it's a nod.
It's a smolder.
Yeah.
It's a nod.
It's your essence. Yeah, dude. You like.
I am so far
back.
out of that game, I can't even remember.
Yeah, how long have you been married now?
I've been married 27. We've been together 29 years. Actually, 29 years this month.
Congrats, dude.
Wow.
That's a big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah,
A long
when we
time.
met, it was just I moved back to Wisconsin from Colorado to pay off some debt, and I was going to go to Alaska. I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I'm checking out. I'm going to Alaska, and then I met this amazing woman and fell in love like instantly, and we've been together ever since.
And are you
Wisconsin?
originally from Wisconsin?
I am originally from Wisconsin. Yeah, and she's from Ohio.
Yeah,
So
Wisconsin.
we just
The Mistake by the Lake?
circumstances- What's that?
Is she from the Mistake by the Lake? Cleveland?
She is.
I
She
said
is.
that to someone the other day, and they were like, "What do you have against Cleveland?" I was
So
like, "I've
I
never
always
been. I don't
say-
know."
I always say that I got the single best thing that Ohio ever created. The rest of the state can kind of bug
Ohio,
off now.
Ohio
so
is the black hole.
it can be parts of it.
Wisconsin's nice though. I
Wisconsin's
mean,
cool. I like
Wisconsin
Cold.
Wisconsin's really cold.
cold, man.
It's got its share of problems.
And then you were telling us at
Yeah,
lunch that
yeah.
you guys lived in Sioux Falls for a while, South Dakota.
So yeah, after we got married, we stayed in Wisconsin for about 10 years, and then we moved to Minneapolis. We were there for 4 years.
With the second level hamster cages between buildings.
Right?
That was the weird. When I got there, I was like, "What in the
What
hell
is
is this?" And then I walked outside for a second. I was like, "I get it.
I'm going back
It's
in.
miserable."
Or the tunnels. You either have a tunnel or
Yeah.
you have a sky. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
You need it.
You really do.
Now, funny story, when I was in Minnesota, I used to run a lot, and there was a guy in the neighborhood that I got to be friends with. We would run in the winter
Yeah, that's
Outside.
That's dumb.
outside.
Well,
How could you even breathe? That would burn my lungs.
It
to like,
was
Minnesota,
It was rough, but you'd wear like a face covering. But
Yeah.
because the ground has got snow and ice on it, it's slippery as hell. Used to take sheet metal screws,
yeah.
screw them into the
my
very
God.
side
Yeah.
of your shoes on the front, so that you had a little bit of grip. You had to do it way on the side though, because obviously you don't want it to go on the bottom of your foot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had specially hand modified shoes for running.
I've
Yeah,
never
that's-
loved anything enough to hand modify something
No,
for it.
Wisconsin-
We better not get that old truck.
Oh, facts,
Dude.
facts. So, were you long distance runner, like cross country? What would you guys do?
I didn't get into running until I was probably 30. And I did one marathon. I've done a couple of half marathons, a couple of those tough mudders.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's been,
Those are gnarly.
they're fun. They're fun.
I mean, I guess I'll
Yeah,
take it.
I'm not-
I didn't think it
I'm
was
good,
fun.
dude.
I thought it
I'm
was
good.
pure hell.
I've never even. I don't even.
You wouldn't even
do
consider it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, it was a good event when we did it. It's probably been 5 years though since I've run.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I did
That's
one
wild.
up in Heber,
Okay.
and I vouch. 10 seconds into that race, I vouched I'm never doing this again.
Dude,
Oh man.
I couldn't. No, I'd rather just do what I do now, which is like wrestling and jujitsu.
Okay.
I'll go to a tournament, but I'll like do tournaments or whatever. But we're not running, dude. Because I can take a break in both of those if I'm getting tired.
I don't know, dude. Jiu-jitsu,
That's pretty bad.
that I don't.
Easier than wrestling.
I had no idea how physically exhausting it was, like cardio exhausting.
How do you, I gotta ask you a question. So how do you feel about Mark Zuckerberg doing jujitsu?
Well, I mean, like if he's doing it just to do it, whatever, anybody can do jiu-jitsu. There's a path to black belt for everybody.
Yeah.
But if he's trying to do it to like fight people, but here's the thing.
I would have paid good money to see him and Elon
Me
in a
too.
ring
Yeah.
together.
Me
I
too.
think Zuck would have kicked his ass.
Really?
Well, here's
He's
the thing.
trained.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. That's it right there. Which is
Elon doesn't lose though.
True, and I love Elon. Like, say what you want. I love Elon.
Put him in a cage. That'd be fun.
yeah.
Yeah, if you have like a cage or like a foldable chair available, Elon's winning.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if you're
dude.
just talking
Straight
like,
jujitsu. But
straight
no.
jujitsu, I think he gets his arm broken in a few seconds.
Well,
Probably.
but that's the cool thing is like in jujitsu, weight doesn't really matter. Like they have weight classes at tournaments, but they'll have an absolute round where anybody can go against anybody. But that's why you remember those. If you ever watched the UFC, like the very first UFCs, when Hoist Gracie would win all of them, and he would go against these big guys, because like there's ways to that's why jujitsu is really good for like young women and girls and women, and because like you can
Young women, girls, and women, all
that's
three.
right. Yeah, I was like, wait, what the
Gotta
fuck am
cover
I
the
saying?
spread there.
Yeah, I
Old
covered
women
it all.
too.
Old women too.
Uh-huh. Don't forget old
Yeah,
women.
like, but
Just
yeah,
not too old.
That's why. Because
Yeah, my grandma's out there just jujitsuing it up. My
Weight
grandma,
doesn't
who
matter.
thought Dalton's name legitimately in person for like an hour, she kept calling him Dolphin.
Yeah, dolphin.
And then she was like, "Your name's Dolphin? Like a
She's like the
weight,
sea?
like a shark?" Like I was like, "Grandma,
awesome.
Yeah, I was like,
Dalton with a T."
Yeah.
She's
That's
like,
awesome.
"Dolphin?" I'm like, "No."
Dude, that's funny. No, but jujitsu is really easy and good on like the joints for older guys. It's really
Yeah, I
it's
like
not-
how you pointed at me for that.
whatever.
Dick.
I'm only 29, dude.
Yeah, you remind me frequently.
Oh my God.
I'm always the youngest one in here.
I couldn't even imagine what 29 would feel like now.
I go to bed fine, and I wake up with an injury.
You're just
how'd I
getting started.
break my elbow?
You're
Yeah.
just getting started.
Yeah, starting a business has been terrible for my health. I've not done well. I just re-upped my Peloton membership, and I'm back on that bike. Me and Kendall O'Toole, man. If you know, you know.
I don't know.
Oh, Kendall.
He's the.
Is that why you-
He's
Oh,
the
No,
okay.
guy
no,
trainer.
no, 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 no. She,
That's
And,
why you upped the
dude,
subscription.
she kicks
Your ass.
your ass. And
right.
she, we're 2 minutes in, and she's like, "We're just doing a light warm up," and she's like laughing and joking and dancing on it, and I'm like taking my shirt off, just dripping with sweat, like, I'm gonna die, you know.
That's funny, dude.
Like it's a good thing there's not like
Yeah.
a two-way camera, so she can
Right.
see me over there just
Dying.
die, literally on my deathbed.
You and every other middle-aged guy in America.
Yeah.
Yep.
Trying to ride,
Yeah.
ride a Peloton.
She's
dude.
got her herd of
she
sweaty
got your
I mean,
Neanderthals
Look,
chasing
she,
after
she
her.
is attractive, but she's also just like, she picks good music. She kicks your ass.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Sounds like a good date,
I
right?
genuinely enjoy it. Yeah, my wife's fine with it. Yeah. My wife goes to this her mom's basement gym. Long story short, my mother-in-law lives one house away from us. I didn't pick it, but she goes over there, and there's like 4 or 5 women that do it, and they call it Hell's Basement. And she came home the other day and was like, "Yeah, so this one lady, she got divorced like 6 months ago. And her ex-husband have a lot of money, but they've maintained a good relationship. The ex-husband is like coaching her on how to date, which seems so odd.
That's bizarre.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
but they're just like, we just don't love each other anymore, but we're friends. But like,
That's
let's go like get divorced and start our lives over again.
That's white people shit.
That is.
So she's
That
got
is.
this new like crazy house, and she's got all this work being
How
done.
old are they, by the way?
Mid-40s.
Man.
And
My wife and I were just talking about this.
the
45 is like where the exit ramp shows up and
Right.
people bail.
Yeah, I heard
20
it's like
years in,
45, we have known so many people, friends of ours in past lives. It's like they get to be kind of mid-40s. They look around, they're like, yeah, I don't think I like this anymore. It's like, holy shit, you're nuts.
I can't imagine
You're nuts.
wanting to start over.
My God, no.
I can't imagine not wanting to. Yeah, I got lucky.
Well,
My wife still pretends to like me, so
yeah, but you know, it's work.
it is
It's work. You know, and
is
it's on both sides.
Yeah.
And you got to want it.
Okay, so but this woman, she's like, yeah. So I went out on a date with my plumber, who's been working on my house, and he was the
There's
plumber.
so many
White-
jokes.
Right
so
there.
many, right?
Yeah, more white people shit.
And she's like, and he was the plumber at my house when I was married, and so
Of course he was.
so we go out.
they had a lot of plumbing issues.
And
didn't
we
they?
run into her ex-husband, and she's like, and he knows the guy that I'm on a date with and his wife. And I'm like, wait, what? And she's like, oh yeah, the plumber who I went out with, they're in an open relationship, and I know he's married, but I went out on a date with him because I thought it'd be interesting.
No way, dude. No way.
That doesn't work.
Like, I
It
don't
never works.
I
No
would never be in an
universe
open
does that ever
relationship
work,
with
yeah.
my wife. And if for some reason my wife didn't want to be married to me anymore and I was
All right,
dating,
so this is
I wouldn't
so
date
many
someone who's in
questions.
an open relationship.
So many
No
questions.
way.
I couldn't do it. I don't maybe
the
I'm old
plumber
school.
No way.
Has
dude.
an open relationship with his wife.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you
Dude,
That
can
water
write,
flows 2 ways, I guess.
you could write
I've
books.
never met somebody like I've known a few people who I've worked with in passing and things who've been in like open relationships or like polyamorous or whatever, it never worked. Like I follow what up on them with Facebook and stuff, and they're
Like that mom talk thing that blew up a few years ago.
oh yeah, like yes,
All
they were here in
all the
Utah.
Mormon women in Utah County and their husbands. Did you hear
swingers.
this?
No.
They were
But they
like
had
swingers.
rules that they wouldn't go all the way. And then one of the couples went all the way,
Of
and it
course,
like
well,
and it
yeah,
blew up.
This is
and
so,
it blew everything up. Yeah.
well,
They
yeah,
ruined
that's so
everything.
I mean, I guess yeah.
You're flirting with something stupid.
But dude, it's like having a potato chip. You can't just eat one. Like if you've already gone all that way, and then you're like, yeah,
you've opened the door. Yeah.
So we're gonna do
really-
everything, but like, no, you're not. There's no way, dude, that you can stop.
So
yourself.
you're thinking it was more than one couple in that group.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
sure.
But that's
Had to be,
That's
right?
bananas, dude. And I've had some people try to like talk me through that to convince me, and I'm like, no, dude. There's just no way.
Doesn't work.
No way.
I had a guy work for me, and he's like, Nick, legitimately, we live in Draper. Come to find out, our ward had like
Yeah.
a group of families that were swinging. They'd do the fishbowl thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, we were friends with them. And he's like, I didn't want to be a part of it. But at the same time, I'm like, what? I'm not good looking enough to even be asked?
Yeah. Didn't even fucking invite me.
I don't want to be part of your club, but
But at least make me feel like I'm
Yeah.
attractive.
Let me say no.
try
Yeah.
to
Let me
initiate
say
me
no.
something.
Yeah, something. Come on. No upside down pineapple, guys? Like, what
Dude,
gives?
that's where it was when I had friends. We were in Draper. I was working at a tech company in Draper, and the gym right behind us, they would do that. Like everybody knew
A
you'd go-
CrossFit gym, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And they went to a gym
Because
and they
CrossFit
would, like,
gyms are a breeding ground for that, dude. I'm telling you.
Stop.
dude, they
For-
would put their
for
keys.
reals.
They did the fishbowl, but with keys. They put their keys in the front, and like you just take 2 separate bowls, unless you were like that, right? Then you could like take the keys back and then go.
Okay, but like we have dum-dums at our office, and I'll put my hand in and pick out a flavor, and I'm like, not a chance. I'm putting it. So, can you imagine they grab a key and they're like, her? Him? I'm not going home with him.
You're like,
New
"Clack,
key.
clack, clack, clack. Where's my
Mix that up.
Dude, those guys were crazy, bro. What a wild what a wild Utah County, bro.
I mean, look, it's not for me. I guess if it is for some people, let them do that. I just can't relate to it. I can't understand it.
And I don't see how it really makes you happy. Like I don't.
You're running from something.
does
Running.
it-
You're running from
You know,
something.
yeah.
I think
mean,
you're right.
And I
you
think
gotta be. You
and I
gotta
think
be.
it's just like, we were talking about that before the podcast, like being okay with conflict or like confronting issues. Like
Yeah.
to me, that just looks like you're running away from. You just don't want to tell your partner something
Absolutely.
real. So you're just gonna like
Absolutely.
make up this shit excuse and then hope it doesn't blow up in your face.
Absolutely.
But it will.
I try to tell my kids a lot, like, don't run away from something, but don't be afraid to run towards something.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
nuanced, but I do
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
like that's a little different. And to me, it's like if you're not happy, at least like
Sit down and talk about it.
sit down, talk about it, do the thing that you need to do, and then if you're gonna run towards something, like okay, run towards it, but like don't run away.
I mean, we've known each other for a few years, and I think we saw each other. I think when we first kind of met up, we were both probably in a space in our lives where we weren't the happiest,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And,
I definitely vouched. I felt that way.
I totally was.
I was at a low point.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. You know, we're joking about the midlife crisis. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that was kind of me sliding into the first round of the midlife crisis probably, and kind of some identity stuff in that. And what I have gotten out of the last several years, you know, through various resources, counseling, and you know, people that I respect is just honesty, and how the more honest you can be, as painful, or maybe not painful, but as uncomfortable as the honesty piece is, the bigger the adventure life is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool. It's really cool. But I mean,
It takes some cojones sometimes to be honest.
It doesn't. You know, I mean,
I guess if you just embrace it, right?
embrace it,
Yeah.
embrace it, and
Well, I think-
and trust the adventure is going to be there.
Yeah. Well, I think
You know,
what
I like that.
I think to your point, Nick, I think there's a difference between being honest and being an asshole.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to balance it, right? Like you don't
Yeah.
want to be a dick.
But I
But you
mean,
gotta
even
tell the
like,
truth,
you know,
right?
relationship wise. So
Yeah.
let's see, you know, there's something uncomfortable there's something that I want to do, right? I want to do something in my life. We talked about this concert when we were at lunch. I want to
Yeah.
go to this concert, right? And back in my mind, I'm like, oh, what's my wife going to think about that? You know, it's like, I want to go to this concert with a couple of buddies, and, you know, she going to be pissed? Is she going to say, I don't want you to go? I mean, old Todd would have probably been like, well, maybe I won't go. There's one option. Or maybe I'll go, but I'll make an excuse why I'm going. But I won't just be open and honest, say, hey, honey, I want to go to this concert.
I just want to go.
Yeah.
And I did that route. I mean, this is the route that I've been on the last couple of years. And she's like, that's awesome. Have fun.
Yeah,
I hope you have a really good time.
And it probably made that trip so much better than it would have been otherwise.
The genuineness of the relationships that you have with people when you can be 100% honest and transparent with them is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Absolutely mind-blowing. So, like, married 27 years, I'd say the last minute I spent with her is the best minute I ever spent with her. And that's truly how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
That's cool.
I mean,
I don't think a lot of couples could say that.
well, they could if they put the work in.
That's
You know, they
awesome.
can't leave their keys in the fishbowl at the CrossFit gym and go fishing in the pond with somebody else who's equally miserable.
Well, I think it's just that idea, right? That idea that, like, people think it's always greener on the other side. Like, you know what I mean? I can fix something if it's not this, right? And it just doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Like,
what's the movie with John Cusack and Jack Black? Low Fidelity, High Fidelity, something. They like work at a record shop together.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. It's been forever since I saw it.
I think it's a cool underground kind of movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And John Cusack is going through a crisis in his relationship, and so then he goes back and he revisits all of his old girlfriends. And at the end, he comes back and he tells her in a very, like, the movie's quirky, but he's like, you know, I think I had fallen in love with, like, the lingerie hanging on the bedroom door. And then I'd come in and I'd see, like, unfolded granny panties. And I was like, you know, and he's like, and I kind of was like chasing that thing. And what I've realized is there's something so attractive and so fulfilling about coming in and seeing granny panties that need to be folded on the bed with laundry. Right. And he's saying it in this weird way, but it is this idea of, like, the grass isn't always greener. Sometimes we convince ourselves that the shiny blue truck
it's your old truck.
is somehow gonna help me
Biking
get through.
in Amsterdam.
Those aren't gonna help me get through a midlife crisis.
no, if you're not cool with yourself, it doesn't work.
No,
yeah.
but what will get you through a midlife crisis is being here and present now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And loading your kids up in the truck you got, your Suburban, and taking them to the drive-thru.
Yeah.
Back it in, open up the tailgate.
Lay some chairs down.
Lay some chairs
whatever.
out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking your kid biking.
Yeah.
You know, hearing him laugh. That's the stuff.
Yeah, I never
gets you
cared what-
through it.
I never cared where we went on vacation as a family. I never cared what T-shirt I had. I never, and that's part of. And I can say, I think there's a part of me that's very much like, I don't want to give my kids or my wife materialistic things. I want to do something that supports an experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what I'm learning, and this has been really helpful, is that you also don't need that 66 S10 to have that experience.
No.
I could do it in whatever car. I could do it in my daughter's car.
How many
and
people,
take them out
how many
there.
people do you know that have garages full of cars and you just look at him and you're like, that dude is so miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My neighbor right now. I mean, the guy he's got a Bentley. He's got 2 Corvettes. He's got a jacked up Jeep. He's got a jacked up pickup truck. He's got this one really cool truck. I've never even heard of it before. The brand, it's a Fargo. Really cool truck.
Well, that's
Old
right. Yeah.
truck. It's like, man, how many can you drive at one time? And I know he's filthy loaded rich, and it's like, you're not happy. I can just tell you, man, you're just not happy. And I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
I genuinely, as a human being, I wish there was a way that guy could be happy. Because that shit, that material stuff, the more you absorb yourself in that, the farther you are from finding happy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, crazy story. So I interviewed a guy on my podcast. His name was Howard Parr, and older guy. One day he comes home. His wife comes home, and he gets up, and he starts he basically has a stroke. Right. Long story short, he has a stroke in his living room, and his wife barely catches him. They get to the hospital, and he's fine. But he said something super profound, and I don't know why it hit me like that. But when you were saying that, he said he went home after this stroke, literally almost dying. And he went home and he looked at everything, like his TV in his living room and stuff. And he goes like, the crazy thing was, he was like, things aren't temporary. He's like, I'm temporary. He's like, if I died, my TV would still be there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, but I wouldn't be, you know what I mean? And he kind of flipped it on its head. And I was like, holy shit, dude, that's kind of wild to think about. Like,
Do you ever read anything from the Stoics? Like
You're big into
Yeah,
that,
right. Yeah.
and I know you are too, right?
I'm more
getting
fucking.
bigger into it. Bigger. I mean, it's a hybrid for me. I'm a recently back in the fold Christian that is also very curious about the value of Stoicism. And Marcus has got so much stuff where he's just focusing on the moment,
Yeah.
the value of the moment. Ignore the past, man. That's gone. Future, you know what the hell that's going to bring. The moment.
Yeah.
The moment.
Yeah, I got it tattooed on my arm.
That is
was
really
a
cool.
Amor Fati was on my arm.
Yeah, I got a coin I carry in my pocket.
Really?
Here,
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was a hell of a
Dang.
throw.
I got the same
You
one.
got the same coin.
Yeah.
I mean,
Love these
understand what those 4 virtues are. And what I love is never trade one for
Yeah.
something else.
Right. Yeah. Wisdom, justice, temperance, courage. And by the way, that's how I live I just teach my
like
kids that
that.
because I'm a Christian as well. Oh,
Dude. My
Those
throw
things are
was
heavy.
equally as bad as your throw,
But
maybe
I feel like-
worse.
I felt like learning about Stoicism, and this is what I say. My mom taught us about that when I was a little kid. So I tell people like, I got into Stoicism before it was cool, but
Oh, you trendsetter. Jeez.
no, I'm just kidding.
Happy to follow in your footsteps.
So I have 2 sayings that, I teach my kids those values. Those are the family values. And then we have 2 quotes from Stoicism that we live by. And one is like, you don't have to have an opinion on everything. And then from Marcus, which is strict with yourself, tolerant of others.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all that
Yeah.
the way I go, you don't have to have it. So like when my daughter comes home mad or like there's something going on in the world, my wife actually hates it. But I'm like, she's like, what do you think about this? I'm like, there's nothing, I don't know. She's like, I don't have to have an opinion on it. Why do I have to stand? What? Yeah, you know, because I feel like that's where we also get like where we are politically or like religiously, right? Which is like, I have to take a side. Like, no, I don't, dude. Like I can be on the side of like humans and I don't have to do anything about this.
Oh, now you're talking about taking sides and and government and politics and stuff. I told Todd I wanted to talk about conspiracies.
Oh boy.
So
Boy.
part of it is
Yeah.
I have this client that's selling. He's not selling solar panels, but he's selling a new way to buy solar panels. So you don't have to
That
go.
already
Like,
sounds bad.
yeah, it means you don't have to have a door-to-door salesman, which that sounds nice.
That already, well, yeah.
Yeah.
But the concepts that we've been coming up with are about this alien sitting at a coffee shop overhearing people talking, and the hook on it is like a conspiracy theory, like, you know, I heard the aliens built the pyramids, and then the alien like from another table's like, actually, let me opine on this. Like, we didn't build it, the Egyptians did. We don't know how the hell they did it, you know. And then like,
You're like, that's why we're here.
and so then
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out.
we're trying to like have it feel like an inside joke for left and for right, where both can be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
which is a hard thing to script, but it's been so much fun to write.
Yeah,
But
you
so I've
gotta-
been
yeah.
like just deep in what are the conspiracies that are not going to get too crazy, but are going to hook people. And I don't know, the one that like is crazy to me, and maybe it is the aliens and pyramids.
Yeah.
Because you
a good
see,
one.
like I was just in Greece at the Acropolis, seeing these marble slabs of stone that they've built that are perfect within centimeters to make things look a certain way or whatever. And then we were doing research. All these years later, they have diamond precision cutting machines that cannot cut out of the exact same quarry the same stones without them breaking. Like, how in the hell did they do it?
Yeah, that's-
And then they
yeah.
moved them 17 miles down a mountain and up the Acropolis and stood them up. And 5,000 years later, they're there. And there's a part of me that I'm like, it's freaking aliens, dude. Like, we had to have help.
Dude, that's crazy stuff.
I don't know.
Man.
What do you?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Well, so did you see the documentary on Netflix, Ancient Apocalypse?
No, but I'm watching it this weekend because
Yeah, you need to. So Graham Hancock, I forget what the other
that
guy's
dude is
name
fascinating.
So they break down this theory that there were civilizations on Earth, ancient civilizations on Earth, pre-flood, so pre-15,000 BC, that were more advanced technologically than we are today, in that, the precursors to kind of the civilizations that we had, and that, you had the Ice Age come in, you had this huge galactic event where we had a meteor shower that came and crashed into the Earth and like caused this massive disruption of the polar caps, which flooded the Earth. Like Bonneville, Lake Bonneville was
Yeah, my house would have been underwater.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that long ago, really, in the grand
flooded,
scheme of things.
Truly. So they went so far as to be able to identify these monolithic structures that are subterranean right now that disproportionately blow the pyramids out of the water as far as size.
They think they found one in Antarctica, right? That's
maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, there's one.
That happens all the time, man.
But they're saying that the pyramids in Egypt,
Yeah.
the base of this one in Antarctica is like 100 times
Bigger.
bigger.
Interesting.
Just massive.
Yeah. It's how far down those rabbit holes can you climb in a day and
know,
come back out? I mean, it's fun to ponder. It's some of mysteries. And here's my challenge, though. So as a Christian, I've got this belief structure that I have to ascribe to. And then the curious side of me is over here watching this documentary and saying, that's some pretty solid evidence there.
Yeah.
Right. And then you've got the extraterrestrial stuff that is continuing to pop up in the news. It's like,
that I feel like most people are just like, we have enough other things going on. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
It shocks me that we're just like,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
right?
well, it's kind of like we already knew that. Like the government's like, we found aliens, and we're like, we already had it, bro.
It's about time we had them for a while. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think me personally, I'm kind of at a crossroads. Where it's like, I think I'm at saturation point.
Well, I think it's okay though. I think that's a healthy thing because like I do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like where you're just like, the worst thing I think you can do in any religion is to not know about the opposition, right? Or like, and maybe not even opposition. Maybe that's even the wrong word.
Expanded thought.
But like, like I don't know
I like
anything.
that
Yeah,
phrase.
like I don't know anything about you. Like that's pretty.
Yeah.
I think that's more dangerous than
For sure.
learning. You know what I mean? 'Cause
The
then
whole
you have,
creation
like,
thing, a lot of people try to break it down. Well, the world was created in 7 days. Well, but what's to say that a day is 24 hours?
Well, well, and
who knows what time really.
well that word in Greek doesn't mean days. It should have
right.
been translated periods.
Exactly.
7 creative periods.
Exactly.
Which means
Who knows
Completely
what?
Anything
changes
different.
the
Yeah, who knows
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's. So what's the question?
That was it. Like I just think
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating when
Yeah.
when you challenge the status quo. I don't know if I believe
Yeah.
one way or the other about it.
Let's just say this. I hope if there's aliens, they get the stuff sorted out in the Middle East before the rest of us are like
sucked into it. This
sucked
big
into
black
the
hole. Yeah.
World War III nuclear holocaust.
Dude, it's scary what's happening.
It's really scary. I mean,
Yeah.
I was pretty tore up about it. I mean, I told you I went to that concert. I was having the time of my life, and there were people on this planet that were having the exact opposite. They were living through hell.
That is a really
And
trippy.
so Monday morning, I checked back into the world. I got my phone. I'm like, something going on there. Push the button. It's like, holy crap. And I just got sucked into the vortex of it. I saw the videos. I saw the images. I felt, the pain of these children and these women that have been dragged off and raped. And then I'm looking out, and you've got these people that are pro-Hamas. I'm like, are you kidding me? What? The world is just spinning out of control. And the last 2 weeks have just really been very disheartening that we as a human race are at this place again. What's the answer?
I don't know, man. Yeah.
Evil. There's abject evil. And as a Christian, do I have a dog in the fight? Yeah, kinda. I mean, supposedly this is between, the Muslims and the Jews, and I could be a neutral. Nope, not at all. So.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
Yeah.
It is
gonna be a tough place to
devastating
be
when
in,
you
yeah.
see terror and misery and sorrow and pain being inflicted upon anyone.
Yeah.
It's, and that, I think what's happening over there is way more complicated than most of us, myself included, fully understand. But
For sure.
But the thing that, you know, I don't understand why people are like wearing the shirts of the guys parachuting down with machine guns, and they're excited about that.
Yeah.
I do
there's
understand
some
people who
wild
are
stuff out there.
are in agony and pain and in support of people who have been wrongfully kind of sentenced to this one little area of land and are good people who are not everyone in the Gaza Strip is over there mowing down people, right? There's a lot of innocent people there as well, and I think
it's
and
a
they've
tough
experienced some tragedy.
The
And so
atrocities are exist
so
on
sad.
both sides. I can never get to a point where I can sit there and justify
Ever.
the actions that were taken. I mean, these babies were
I
decapitated,
know.
burnt alive.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a video that
it's
was
pure
on.
evil.
It's pure evil. There's a video
It
online
is.
that it showed this young woman. She was laying in the back of a pickup truck. Her legs are all disproportionate. She's half naked. You can clearly see that she's had a bullet through the back of her head, which, thank God, she's no longer enduring the agony.
Right.
And a guy comes up and spits on her, and then they go tearing off through the streets to celebrate. And another one, the young woman dragged out of the back of a Mitsubishi something, and her whole backside is blood.
Yeah.
And she's been raped.
Crazy.
And it's like, you want me to come across on that side and say that's okay?
Never going to happen.
It will never
Never.
happen. I'm sorry. It will never happen.
I totally
Ever.
agree.
Ever.
Crazy.
I can't go there.
No,
Yeah.
no.
So, there's part of me that wishes that I hadn't seen that stuff. The other part of me says you have to look evil in the eye in order to realize just how bad it is. And I think the only thing that we can do as individuals is be the best we can be. Be that counterbalance in the world. That's all we've got.
Well, in the time I've known you, I always feel like you bring a good positive energy to things. You bring realism and authenticity. And even in this conversation, I think that just rings so true. And it was why I was excited that you said yes to sit down and talk about
super
everything.
excited,
I told you.
So are you buying
I told
the
you
truck?
there's no agenda.
Are you buying the
There's
truck?
like
About
a
everything.
weird.
I want to get back on the truck. Are you buying the truck?
I'm still looking. I want to be really thoughtful. Like I've saved. So it's there. I can be a bit impulsive, and this last weekend I was like, okay, I think I found the one. And then I'm like, no, I'm still making some sacrifices on what I really want, and I'm not even sure. I'm like, do I want this old farm truck or do I want this? And so I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait and see. And when the right one hits, who knows? I might call you up and be like, dude, I bought a 66 Chevy Impala. Because the Impala
those are
is
cool.
gangster.
Those
That's
are cool.
some big money, man.
That I don't have that kind of cash, that's for sure.
That's
Like,
big money. That's you're allowed to legally drive it on Sundays, and you can't stop.
Yeah.
Pull it out of your garage, drive around the block, put it back in the garage.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a garage car for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, these trucks, they'll be parked in the RV slab.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
I think it will be. Once I figure it out and I get it, I'll take you for a Sunday cruise.
Yeah.
Love it.
We'll take it up into the mountains. We'll play around with some anabolic grow.
That's right.
See if we
Very
can
cool.
spot some wildlife.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Love
All
it.
right. I think that's it.
Yeah,
dude.
that's it.
Thanks, man.